Welcome back, everybody, to the Sweden Major on the B stream, and we are going to a very important matchup quite soon, as there is a bit on the line. It is a difficult time. It's a tall ask. Don't get me wrong. It's almost mission impossible.
I mean, a bit on the line is an understatement when everything is on the line. Chiefs,
exactly.
This is the moment. This is your moment. You're not just waving the flag for you, but all of the people back home and the region that has needed a bit of a shining light. Unfortunately, it's against a very tough opponent. An opponent where their last result was a 7-0. Yeah, it's FaZe Clan again.
Yeah, you're going to go up against a team that is not actually confirmed yet. According to many, would have been the first one to do so, but it was Rogue actually due to their win against them. Now, Chiefs, they need 6 points today. And they need to make sure that FaZe loses both those games. That starts here right now. It's FaZe versus Rogue. Let's pull up the first roster to start talking about who exactly will we see in the server.
Well, FaZe Clan have been sharp and aggressive, and to the surprise of a lot of people, as you said, not the auto-qualified team, or at least the first to qualify. Nobody's automatically through, but we expected to see at least one on every group from the start of today, and it's not them. They are sitting 1 point shy of the 10 that is often cited as being the requirements to make it, and as you said, if Chiefs have a hope, if they have a dream, and if they have a little bit of Australian magic, it's going to be not only beating FaZe now, but also hoping that FaZe lose their matchup following today.
Yeah, and then they still need to win their matchup against Oxygen. So there's so many things going on right now. Of course, Oxygen versus Rogue will be on the other side of things. Doesn't really matter that much. Maybe Oxygen could get a third place in, get a bit more SI points. Not that it matters that much for them, however. So, yeah, FaZe is out of the way in that case. Let's hop over to the side of Chiefs, the Australian team. That is often, also talked about, when we were going through Ethan. Ethan is that star player, that experience that's in there, but he's not the only one that's currently carrying the weight. It's a whole roster, of course, of Australian players that are finally able to go to an international LAN again, and that is a very exciting prospect, and maybe we get to see them to go to the playoffs. It's looking unlikely, but maybe they pull out some magic.
Do you know a fun fact about the first matchup? Not that probably Chiefs and Chiefs fans want to relive it, but it is, or was at the point of it being put together, the most watched game of the group stages so far. Was the first FaZe versus Chiefs. I don't know if that is true as to the end of yesterday, but it was definitely true as to the start of yesterday.
Yeah, it was also a very quick game, though.
It was a very quick watch.
Quickest, but we have been seeing quite a lot of quick games, actually, over the group stages.
A lot of started today.
0, 1s and 2s, even started today.
And this group has been the most sort of spread out around that, as we have a look at the Chiefs, who has already suffered on the wrong end of one of those poor results that FaZe dished out in a day that lives, I guess, for them in the record books, but for others, probably best forgotten. However, it's a question of what lessons have been learnt here for the 5 players from the OC region. It's a question of what heat can they bring. They found some of their first result yesterday. They found the taste of glory. They found a bit of fire. But it was against OXG. It was against a team that hasn't been here at full strength, isn't here at full strength, unfortunately, and is the team that has been confirmed as relegated. Now they got to step it up to the nth degree.
Yeah, that's it. And mentioned it before, they need all 6 points here today. They need FaZe to get a total of 0 points for them to make up for it. And you might be like, but the gap is 5 points, Hap. If they get 1 point, it still should be good enough. And then I answer with, yes, but no, considering a 7-0 is hard to beat in terms of a head-to-head. You'd have to respond with your own 7-0 in return to make that happen and potentially bring it up to overall round count. So, who knows? Who knows? Maybe that is an opportunity for Chiefs, but they just want to get as many points as they possibly can. Seeing them right here, it is the Australian team, the dash there coming through as well. How long can he hold it?
He's keeping it for a long time.
Oh, I was going to wait.
He outlasted the cameraman.
Cameraman lost indeed the stair battle there. But indeed, Chiefs, And that might be going up soon against FaZe. And so much on the line. Everything in line. Their tournament is on the line. Their fellow Apex South team of Invictus Gaming, of course, not really with the full lineup.
That's true.
Has already been eliminated.
Although, as an entire region, APAC has had some success.
That is true, because that is normally how we do it here. It's all APAC now.
It's all APAC on the grand scale. Although there's the fun back and forth between APAC North and APAC South in terms of inter-regional banter. As soon as those planes make the long journey over to Sweden, it's all APAC, baby, and one APAC team has been confirmed. One APAC team has been confirmed not. It is now the chance to try and make sure they're not the second statistic on that board. It starts here, regardless of what else is going on in the other game. Now, there is some fun back and forth chat that we're not going to entirely expose, but it's a good conversation between... Everyone is in a good mood in the lobby, I think is the easiest way of putting it. And we find ourselves on Club as well. The map ban was there. We're going to fly in. We're going to get into the engagement. It's 77 to a 23, which, to be honest, I think that is just all of Australia showing up. That is try and bring this back in, because against a FaZe Clan and a vote where the previous was a 7-0, you would assume a bigger difference, to be honest.
You would assume a bigger difference indeed, and the entirety of APAC, of course, behind the Chiefs. I even said it myself, I kind of wanted to see go through, but well, the Chiefs don't hold their word true, actually, because you just talked about that banter that went on. You know, Cyber, we all know him for his Twitch plays. He's like, no, Cyber's going to play Twitch today, is what they said on FaZe, and then Chiefs said, lol. Twitch is going to get banned. But no, Twitch actually still on the board, so who knows? Maybe we will see Cyber on that Twitch.
So, Club, it's going to offer them a little bit of that extension. It can play itself into a pretty good default spot. And it's also worth mentioning, obviously, the fact that FaZe are in this position has been proven that they can be beat. They are mortal, although that 14-0 opening day might convince a lot of other people. Otherwise, it's just tough, and that's, you know, one of those sad things is it doesn't make anything better. Sure, you know that they can be beat, but you still know it's not going to be easy, and the fact that they've already been pushed to the brink means that they're probably a little bit sharper than they were last time.
Definitely so. The Vigil being banned as well, a very efficient operator if you want to well, try and mess as much as possible with the droning of the opposing team. And that seems that Chiefs, well, they don't really want to deal with that Vigil. Clubhouse! Oregon. Clubhouse. No, Clubhouse. I was going to say, Oregon. The Oregon was last round.
Yeah, Oregon was a different... That was an entirely different game. It's also worth saying that obviously Clubhouse was where we saw Chiefs pull their victory. So Club was where they were able to take OXG across. It was a 7-2. It was a pretty good showing. But then Clubhouse was only where they played Rogue and were then dispatched 1-7. It is a little bit of a back and forth story here. So this is their third showing on the map.
Against a third different region. I know Meepy called it like I big-brained the map ban phase with bringing it to Clubhouse. One of the FaZe is thinking about it the same. Chiefs obviously happy to go here after they have found some success. So managed to find some not success. And Easy is our observer today.
Hi, Easy.
Fellow Dutchman.
Hello. Benelux boys.
Benelux boys together. With a bit of a UK flavor.
Yeah. Hey.
Hello.
Chiefs. Let's level. Let's get this one close to the bone. Yeah. I'm really curious why we're going back to Club. And I know we haven't made a deal of it before, because to be fair, it's 1 win, 1 loss. But they were quite extreme differences. And to also be fair, the pressure you got from Rogue, although at that point they were still fighting for the qualification, is still more likely to be similar to what you're going to get from FaZe. Here, as they're getting themselves set up, they've got the possibilities of the extension all the way to the top. They have not really anything to specifically waste time in terms of the Mozzie and the Vigil, which is obviously banned, which would be usually that up top 4 extension, but still the Mute Jammers, the Castle, it is options for trying to waste FaZe's time.
There's definitely options. It's also a game, bro. Trying to play, be disruptive, waste as much time as you can possibly at the same time. As the Buck there, actually opening up into the strip already. You saw some of that particles flying through the actual wall on pool. Wordy is aware and trying to hide now as he knows that that could be an entry point here for Cameraman, who is droning himself in. First of all, trying to figure out if it's safe for him to go. Checking the bathroom, checking the strip, checking the pool, but Worthy, of course, a little bit further back, might not have been spotted.
Now, with Ethan playing that rotation flex possibility on the top of red, it becomes a isolated position. If you are left isolated, sure. Fisher and God Legion aren't too far away. They might be able to pick themselves up and try and offer some support and sustenance. But hey, what's this? FaZe have gone, let's go onto the site. They're going to try and find the first fight. They're going to get revealed by the Malusi, and suddenly they're trying to swing round. Chiefs have to try and find their way back down and at least put some reverse pressure back on. But with 3 bodies, it's going to be tough. But they make it work. The first fall into their favor. Cameraman and Zera are gone off the split. One more for Ethan. Now Bullet, who made this deep dive drive, is suddenly parked and left to wait.
Souls, last one standing here on the side of FaZe, is in a 1v5 situation. We have seen the ace clutches happen before, but that was on the side of a Space Station Gaming before. It does mean that if one manages to do so, another can definitely do as well. However, diffuser dropped, a minute left, and the members of Chiefs, they know there is an opportunity to make it to the playoffs, to make it to the big stage here and to eliminate FaZe as a result. So they will want to, well, take this as an opportunity, not throw it away. And Souls rotating out, will be using this as a potential timeout or a potential rotate around. I'm not quite sure. At least a lot of time will be wasted. And well, what really went wrong in this round, I think the initial part of it was good. They managed to sneak in, they managed to spot the gap. However, after that, they might have tried to go a little bit too quickly with all of the troops. And that got picked up by Chiefs. They basically led them into an ambush, you can almost call it. Soul's now trying to go for a bit of a flank. Might have spotted out a need there. Pushes through, gets spotted himself. All the guns will be pointing in this direction right now. It's going to be 1 kill at least to start it off, but it's Digital to finish it off. And that is going to be some smiles. That is going to be the cheers as well, because the dream is alive. The dream is definitely there. So, well, they have just committed step 1 to 14 that they need.
I mean, they've already done better than they did last time.
That is true. You did a little, you know, small steps, as we say,
Small
baby steps.
Leads to big results. And to be fair, yeah, it was, they saw an opportunity and tried to take it. There were some very important kills that went Chiefs' way. They made sure that they had the lockdown. Obviously, Ethan pulling the double on the opposite side. We talked about how those important players have to react to the pressure that comes through, and they did. And that's it. And though you didn't see it on your screen, it would have been a cacophony of their movement coming down from the 2 staircases to make sure they can offer a back to what is otherwise suddenly a massive affront to the site itself. It's a great opener, but it's the time to try and grow from that as they head up to CC, a site where those sort of plays and ploys, that tightness of communication is going to be the important factor.
It's going to be a very important factor here as the mirror is still open on the board. It's an operator that for a long while has seen a close to 100% ban rate. However, that did change. We'll see here come out quite a bit now, and well, this side is going to be an interesting one. Could be a mirror window that is aimed towards the construction site from the top of red, but sometimes we also see it on that main wall being deployed because you have that opportunity to open it up, get those impact grenades through. Big issue with that though, however, is the serial laser gates that have currently been deployed. Those will stop any impacts as well, so you'd have to waste them first or be close enough, and so it might just be to try and annoy it. Or actually, what it could be is to try and go for a bit of a sort of stall or mirror trick, you would say. Not the case. Oh, wait, placing the mirror window like this actually deactivates them temporarily. If you place the canister in the middle, both of them get deactivated, so you can actually try and impact through until the mirror window is gotten rid of.
It's a clever combination of utility, and now, well, that Maverick's going to hot-foot it out of there to make sure he doesn't suddenly face a C4 across the top. It's a very narrow plinth and platform, and a very open window and space now. He is not finishing the artwork he wanted to create, and it was a clever play there. The gates are still deactivated. Whether there is
that's because of the mirror window placed, because the metal frame comes out, it blocks the actual laser gates.
I thought it was
seems like something is in the way. Yeah, I think if you put it like right there, because that is a bit of extra that comes out. It's a bit more 3D, you'd say. So they need to get rid of that first. That is when the laser gates activate. So honestly, they have to open up the window first. The Cyber Zero opens up into Fisher Guy before they can get rid of these laser gates.
That's the first take, and the grenade use has been pretty consistent by FaZe Clan throughout this entire tournament so far, and they're not going to have a change of pace as of yet. Digital and Worthy still have the lockdown on Garage as God Legion tries to go for a big rotate background to offer some support. Doesn't get caught by anyone that might be watching on the flank on the far side, but FaZe is still weighing up all the options. That's dangerous, he says, and stops to himself as he tries to reimagine just where they might be coming from. But otherwise, FaZe is seemingly trying to still work that out themselves. They're split out. There's one on Strip. There's one playing towards Jacuzzi. Now two. They're reimagining their attack because of that hold on that CC wall.
It's going to be difficult to open up now, quite dangerous as well due to the open mirror window. A lot of utility could be tossed through due to the change that electrification on walls no longer destroys nitro cells or catches any friendly utility off. Already though, takes a bit of damage. Digital does get down. Cyber is the one responsible for that one, but they do not have the opportunity to clear him up yet though. Bullet holds the rotation. There's no way they could go for a safe pickup there as Worthy does get picked up and leaves us in a 2-on-5 situation if it's got Legion with a double to bring it back.
He steps back in from his position on the power on the far side. 2 down though, and it's just God Legion left. Has to do the ace clutch the same way we talked about one FaZe player trying to do it before. Now, well, it goes the same way, but FaZe Clan are the ones that stand at the end. 1 for 1, blow for blow, and it's back to square one.
Back to square one we go, and well, Chiefs, they managed to keep that wall closed. That is quite an impressive feat, you'd say, because that wall is always going to be step one. That wall is always going to be the main focus of most of the attacks, and FaZe really giving up on that and deciding to go for different approaches. Well, it worked out here, but if the Chiefs would have realized, they might have been playing a bit more passive, a bit more heavy towards that garage, for example, to stop Cyber from the impact he had. Gym bedroom coming underway. The mirror yet once again picked up, this time not in combination with a Rooney to get these laser gates on that wall. Going to be using it, of course, inside of the construction and inside of the bathroom. At least those are the two most common spots where they would be placed. You can only expect that that will happen yet once again as ankle holes are being opened up in the gym to make sure that planting becomes quite annoying.
Attack discovered the location of a bomb.
It was a bit of a blow from a singular player of FaZe. To be fair, obviously we saw a bit of a pickup of a couple of bodies, but Cyber Zero pulling a quad on the rotation round from Garage, 2 of them being scrappy fights that ended up in downs. Yeah, it's an unfortunate moment for Chiefs, but it's something that, to be fair, that's why they were joking around in the lobby before. It doesn't need Twitch to cause these problems. Cyber Zero has been causing these problems for a lot of different people in every single game. We've seen him single-handedly take rounds at this point multiple times. At this point, enough times to be like, oh, there he is doing that thing he do.
Definitely so. He just gets in, gets those kills. It's like we just talked about in the previous game in the Ace stream, Malamount just running in from the freezer, getting that quad kill, and suddenly the whole side and the whole round is open up yet once again. Cyber has that same effect every now and then. Wall to CC will be opened up quite quickly. No utility used to try and stop that from happening. Means they're probably not going to be too worried about it. Fisho's closing up the rotation from construction towards the logistics and might be pulling up a mirror window there as well. Currently, yes it is. That is normally not the angle we currently see it.
As they steady their way here, focusing towards the opposite on the split side, Cyber Zero is going to be able to do all of the work that he wants to on these hard walls. There's nothing that is intently going to try and stop him, but to be fair, nothing usually does here. It's the hold that Fisho Guy has that might be dangerous, most importantly because of what Worthy needs to do. Keep him safe from any FaZe players getting underneath with a grenade. It seems like Digital's found himself a little bit of heat on the far side of the map as well, which shows a bit of intention that FaZe is trying to find some pressure elsewhere. They take things on a step-by-step discussionary basis, and you know the next one is, okay, step 2, we're going for that mirror window.
You need to at least start opening that up, and as cameraman comes in with the buck to open up the soft breach to Nitro Cell. It gets lost out, but we'll find absolutely nothing. Where's the FaZe though? Going on a new rotation. They have spotted that narrow window. They want to put up the pressure now, and that will come directly from the construction and from the logistics hatch. Good Legion still on a bit of a flank though, as Astro opens up. Fisher gets picked up. Bullet on a flank, however, so he could be picked up potentially. Here is Cyber. Well, he starts to enter now as well, so FaZe really on a roll.
They decided that they needed to take over construction, and that's what they did. Ethan is concerned about logistics hatch, but to be fair, the mantle of pressure is still forming, and with a minute left, they just suddenly take another 2. And Ethan now is going to try and swing back in, but a flawless from FaZe is the response. And we said it was just getting started, and FaZe, I mean, they have so many gears.
Yeah, they're only just starting to set up in their second gear right now, and then turning up the third in the middle of the round. Just a quick reminder for those of you that just tuned in, missed the pre-match, for example. Chiefs need 6 points, and they need FaZe to get none. If FaZe are going to be able to pick up their 6th round, a 6th round in this matchup, that means that Chiefs is officially eliminated from the group stages, will not be making it to the playoffs, and FaZe will join Rogue in their group to be representatives to go over to the playoffs. So that is currently at stake for this game. It could be the end of the storylines of this group, maybe just, of course, the first place seed. That is still up to grabs for FaZe and Rogue if it ends in FaZe's profit or way. But we'll have to wait and see. See how that pans out in the end. We're only in round 4 now. There's still plenty of it to go. Ace did a prediction. He said it was going to be 7 rounds here this round. So I'm not quite sure if it will be 7.
It might be 8.
It will not be 7 anymore.
It will definitely not be 7, but it could be 8. And that's the game that Chiefs now have to try and not fall into, because FaZe build momentum, especially on their attacks. They are so good at just tearing teams apart. They've led in with their attacks on pretty much every single game they've played, if not every game, I believe, and they've generally got off to a great pace across the board. It's been comebacks when they're on their defense that have been what have made FaZe sweat in one of the only experiences that they did. So Chiefs have the most pressure on them on this half to try and secure a 2. If they get a 3 against FaZe's current attacks on any map, that's pretty good.
Yeah, managed to get 2. That is basically survival. That puts you into a position where you can fight. Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't know if he wanted to get it.
No, I think he did.
I thought he might have wanted to get it up on the balcony there, otherwise it wouldn't throw. So big out of the way. It's an impressive throw, very high, just over the balcony as well. So good precision there. Right away, Astro will be trying to open up onto the hatch here in the kitchen. He's going to be putting down that claymore just to make sure no jump outs will come through. And is that Selma for assault? Okay, yeah, no, it's a Selma for assault hatch on logistics. It's not a direct sight, you know. They probably think they have he has 1 Selma left. What is he going to do with that one? Are they going to open up any hatches? I mean, they have 3 heart breachers, so not necessarily you need them.
I was going to say, if he's allowed to use them, it's this round where they've got 3 heart breachers. It is club, where the traditional is to bring 2, but at the same time, they're being driven and creative with their push. Maverick getting the lines down. They're making sure they have the clarity on the space that they want, and that's FaZe. They're not just limited by what a lot of teams will call their defaults and what a lot of takes will be built. They'll say, well, we've got this in our pockets, and this is the problem. How do we solve it? Now is the next they go for the take here onto blue to meet more of the Chiefs players than they did from last time, but to be fair, it was Chiefs that locked this off previously. Digital just survives with the scrape on the long firefight. The Souls is trying to apply more and more pressure. The drone is the giveaway, and Digital is the first off the board. Dirt falls, and another spray comes through. Cyber's error is caught next. God Legion under the table gets 1 more. Gonna see if he can get close and apply some fire as Souls gets 1 from the back of the armory side. He knows he's very isolated. The longer that goes unchecked, the more likely he has to have bodies on his left and right shoulder. One on utility box is dancing dangerously to see if they can bait some intel. They're watching the flank and keeping a keen eye. But with 50 seconds, there's a lot of time for them to try and restructure for the 2 players in the back of armory.
Definitely a lot of time here, and they're hoping to go a bit more aggressive with these smoke and assist to come out. God Legion is making a lot of noise in the past here, so they should be aware of the fact that he's still here, especially with this double concussion now that comes out, and Impact to follow it up as well. He starts shooting back and takes some damage himself as Astro goes down in the meantime. It'll be a very slow prone peek there, but he doesn't get that far. It's Fisher and Ethan now in a 2v2 situation. The diffuser has been dropped, and so is Ethan.
Well, he's going to see if he can get back to the cover on the diffuser here. They hear the goo mine pop off, but It's not going to be enough. A great take with a shotgun. Just one more pop up and a pop down to lock it off. Can't quite get it. No! Bullet is able to find the lock, and Chiefs so close to finding themselves closer in this fight and locking off that site for the second time. But instead, FaZe, they double their gap.
It's a very close round there, though. Just that shotgun, that one shotgun shell that was fired on the last player alive. I believe that was Bullet. If that would have been a little bit more towards the center mass, that would have been the kill. But it started all off with this beautiful pre-fire, the drone giving it away. Got Legions trying to stay alive with the best of his abilities, but being peeked by 2 men at the very same time. Whereas the diffuser was dropped. Ooh, that shot as well. Like, and this one is what I mean. Like, if cameraman was stood up, he would have been dead. So crouching there is definitely what saved them that round.
Back to CC we go, and obviously what we saw from FaZe here was the first approach towards a very sturdy hold on CC wall, and then a quick pick back up to the pressure applied onto construction. It was, here's an idea, alright, we don't have a crack through there, so we're going to go somewhere else. It was the exemplary idea of what FaZe do so well, which is their reimagining of their approaches based on the clever problems that get put in front of them. Now Chiefs, they're stacking themselves up so far with general similarities. Obviously the Aruni gates are gone. That's a bit of utility that's changed off. Instead they've opted for potentially more of a solid hold towards the construction side. More attention and more pressure and pace, and maybe let them go for a little bit of default.
Mirror window again being set up here. We've seen this one before. Now, the big issue came in for the side of FaZe was the amount of utility on this main wall. And as Cyber is getting into a position with that blowtorch, he has an opportunity to, as this is being put down, quickly make a bit of a gap and start pushing through. But it's going to be too late about it. Forced off as well. The mirror window is there. They're not really going to be too worried about it. A lot of information will feed from it though, so they might actually have to deal with it at some point. I'm not quite sure why he didn't stay on, knife it, so there is no information to be gathered from it. So now he starts opening up and there is still information.
He's made his decision and he's going to stick by it, and that's to try and burn his way through. The cut high hole there is just going to do enough to push them further back and pop the wall itself. They'll have an entrance, and they'll have that mirror window made a lot more uncomfortable. As he said, it could have become a blind fire thing, but at that point, it's very likely to get shot out. Maybe that's the game he was thinking, to avoid the C4, and he just wanted to get the job done. Talking of Astro, bringing the Man Mountain, if I'm going to talk about the changes that we've seen from the push here from Chiefs, FaZe's adaptation is, well, if we can't get it this way, let's go up Garage with the solidity that the shield offers.
This smoke canister is going to be tossing from so far right into Astro here. He's dealing a ticket damage, but at least it will waste some time. Of course, the main goal of the smoke, to waste that time. They know a player is on the top of the rafters here, and they want to try and figure a way to get him out of there. And as the second smoke canister will be tossed, it's another 10 to 15 seconds that Astro will no longer have available later in that round. Nitro 2 smoke canisters so far have been used to try and get rid of that Monty. Well, in the meantime, opening up some extra angles just to make sure they can start flushing them out if Astro is allowed to start moving up finally.
Well, now the pressure comes round. Didn't take the fight, but didn't have any other option. Look at this, Monty. Go! This is what they do. If you cannot quite solve the problem of how to get through CC wall and get the control of Garage, a well-played and placed Monty player is that drive. It makes it impossible for the Rafter players to be comfortable to stop this approach. Now, as they pop the second mirror window open, they're eyeing up towards the default plant spot, and Bullet is going for the close angle here on the other side of that mirror window. There's a bit of a catch to the player on deep, and Cyberzera gets down, hunkers up, and goes for the pick back up for the fight onto the top of red. Souls is going to open the route round to the plant here, and they're going to see if they can long arm the grenade. Ethan doesn't get caught by it as the ADS catches it instead. The pullback, and Astro is facing the last smoke canister. It's going to leave them a handful of seconds to see if they can make it, but Cameraman swings his way up from the underside of red. Cyberzera picks the second one up with a grenade, and suddenly it is all FaZe, all blue, all flawless.
A very methodical round here from FaZe, and even though the timer almost ran out, it felt like they were in control basically the entire time. So much utility wasted on early on from the Monty that wanted to, put the pressure on. A nitro cell, 2 smoke canisters used eventually, and a kill came through because they opened up that gap. They knew that, the player that's prone there needs to move at some point, otherwise other pieces of utility from the attackers are going to be used to get rid of him. Instead, just were able to get that free gunfight there. And from there on, all they needed to do, open up the wall, start going for that plant, and make sure that those mirror windows are unplayable. That's exactly what they did there. 4-1, FaZe are in the lead, and the Chiefs, well, with their tactical pause, are going to try and pull that pause magic. We see very often, as soon as a pause gets called, suddenly everything just seems to be rolling a little bit better after that. Sometimes for a round, but sometimes for the rest of the game. So, what can the coach do? What can they retell to the Chiefs to make sure that this game can be turned around? Because we mentioned it before, if FaZe get 2 more rounds now, it is game over. It's tournament basically over for Chiefs. They have another game to play, but it would be impactless.
It's also still worth mentioning now that I believe that taking 2 rounds on your defense in this meta against FaZe is still a good showing. It's a standard showing for a lot of teams at the minute. It's FaZe's strongest game, and it's terrifying how good they are on their attacks, how quick, how clever, and how smart and sharp they are in a meta that plays well for attackers. So Chiefs, it's not over yet. A 4-1 is still the possibility of getting themselves that 4-2, which does give them some good stead and breathing room onto the approach. Hey, Amaru, I don't know if we've seen you this tournament so far.
We have seen it, actually. We haven't. But the tournament itself has.
The tournament itself has.
Yeah, it has seen some play. The cameraman is wanting to bring in some more play here, and I can understand that it's a quick operator, and so far FaZe have been exceptionally quick as well. There's a hatch in the middle of the site, as you can see here. It's the motorcycle hatch. I doubt that we will see cameramen go up through it, but it is an opportunity you have when you have the grappling hook available to you. I think it will more so be used to put up some quick pressure onto the roof, quickly open up those hatches, for example, in logistics, so that verticality can quickly be denied on the side of Chiefs, because that is a good way to hold this site. That hatch that you see right here inside the construction is often used to stop the whole stage plan. So that hatch you need to basically deny if you want to go for it. And otherwise you need to make sure that the bedroom is clear if you want to go for a plant inside the bar itself.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Cameraman's paying as much attention to the strip side as they can, but the Amaru is instead going for a bit of a roam towards the top at first. Hoping and expecting some vertical pressure. It is generally how you take and hold this site off. You've got to keep a lockdown onto that stage side, which is for a lot of teams the first go in, but that starts with potentially this, prepping for a quick break and a bout of damage here towards the core of the construction site to see if they can cut some of this verticality in half, give themselves an opener and a window. Pay keen heed towards the run-out chance of dirt, but nobody's there, and they'll start their pop pressure.
I was thinking that maybe we would see the Amaru actually going in from the main stairs window from the small plateau that is right above the freezer, of course, in the kitchen. But for now, at least, the opening will be made into the jacuzzi first. I said it, they need to get rid of that top floor control that is currently being put up here by the Chiefs, and that's exactly their plan here. They need to breach through, and will do so successfully here at the jacuzzi. And they need to take control of the bathroom and then push on from there on as Ethan gets a ping. He is inside of the dirt tunnel and might be able to pick up a kill here, but if he misses the opportunity, that is going to be leading into a kill on them.
Fisher guy takes some pressure, and Ethan's desperately trying to claw his way through the soft wood to see if anybody is around, but Fisher guy goes down, and logistics falls. He was hoping somebody would go for the hatch at the same time as the push, but cameraman decides to just hot drive their way through. Takes a shoulder and a shutter of damage from a C4. Sigel's going to see if he can pick up any pieces on the other side of it, but suddenly, a minute left, and all that verticality in the blink of an eye and a click of a finger is in FaZe's control. The spray bag goes a bit scrappy. Digital can't quite get out the door, and he gets dropped in the meantime. Worthy is going to see if he can pick that back up. Maybe take a bit of a surprise strike. He knows how important this space is, and as Bullet suffers a little bit from, I believe, just some scraps on side on utility damage, it wasn't a giveaway. There's a big separation between the two players. They are waiting for this flank. They put the pressure back in. The position is revealed, but Ethan going down does enough to drive the point home. There is one player left, and they are far away on a bit of an established play, but it's a third flawless for FaZe this half.
FaZe here really putting up the pressure onto the side of the Chiefs. And now, well, this means it's do or die for them now. The Australians have to make sure that this one sticks. And everything after that as well. They cannot afford to lose a single round anymore, or they're outside of the tournament. And that's a lot of pressure. That is a lot of pressure on these players. They have finally been able to make it back to the international stage, though, just in general as a region, because every single time an Australian team, an OCE team managed to qualify, but every single time they were not able to leave, not able to attend. Painfully so.
Yeah. And I think that's the main thing here as well, before we talk too much on that, is that it's been a long time building. And kudos and credit to whoever was on the side of the team and the organization, and then on this side as well, to make sure that we could finally get some representation, because it's a great region and it's a strong region that's been causing a lot of upstart problems in Apex South against some of the more familiar teams and faces. It's so good to finally see some of that on the biggest stage. And sure, so far the story hasn't gone, it's not over yet, but now's the time to use your copy pastas, OCE fans in the chat, because one round is all that separates Chiefs from going home. They need the full 3 if they have the dream of waving that Aussie flag on the playoff stage.
They need the full 6, actually, in the next 2 games.
Well, 3 from this. One game at a time.
Definitely so. But just a single round is what stands between them and not achieving that dream of making it to the playoffs, not being able to wave that flag. And what FaZe, they want to go aggressive. You already heard some of the pings coming through from the Prismas. One of the Chiefs members has put a bullet or 2 through, so they might have a bit of a general idea where the push is coming from. Impact will be used to try and put up a little bit of pressure up towards the logistics office, but no one seemed to be there. The hatch was still closed. It's a bit of information that will be gained. This official guy, Nades himself, that is definitely not the best best start of things. Social Maverick gone. Cyber goes quite aggressive to the outside area, puts up a lot of damage to Word. He knows he's being challenged here and wants to win the gunfire, but it's Astro that shoots over his shoulder and will be able to secure that kill. Chiefs now with 3 members left. One of them is inside that basement, picks up the first. It's Digital into Cyber. Ethan, however, is taking a lot of damage as he gets some support from his teammate of Got Legion as well. And it's suddenly back into a 3-on-3.
Well, an unexpected blow and an unexpected one means you were down 2 bodies, but you've been able to pull them back. A fair chunk of damage, but look at the utility that they have lost. All of the hard destruction is gone out the window. Everything is going to have to be firefights through the door, and that is not easy on a map like this, especially on a site like this, especially against a team like this. Wearing this, oh no, that's what you got to do now, and you have just over a minute to make those pieces come together. Cameraman's going to leave himself stocked up at the top of the Adam stairs as he waits for the approach potential of Ethan, who's just going to steady away with the drone. They might be able to catch some footprints through the hatch, but as soon as you start to swing those angles, you'll find yourself more likely having your own head taken off.
A lot of pressure now coming down to Blue from the Chiefs. One in the oil pit, moving through the utility room. And of course, on the top floor, and as the Banshees start screaming, they are well aware of where the push is coming from. Smoke canisters are being pushed in, and his cameraman wanted to go for a flank. He now knows as well that, well, the pressure is actually coming from the bottom floor, so he might want to sneak down. You have to be careful, though. The hatch is open. There's a member down there as well, but he gets the very first kill. Lets the diffuser drop, turns it into a 3v2 situation. The remaining 2 Chiefs members are in sight. And it's only up to Digital now. This might be where their dream ends. It's a 3-on-1 situation. He needs to clutch it out in the next 20 seconds, but a C4 will blow him up, and that means the Chiefs are eliminated. But the game is not over yet. There is still a game to be played. The question is, however, are they going to be able to bring it back still?
It's also worth congratulating FaZe.
It is also worth congratulating them.
Now ensured their promotion. I know that obviously a lot of the focus has been on the bold fight in this game, because this game was the do or die for Chiefs. It didn't have to be the do or die for FaZe. They just needed a single point from the day's proceedings. They found that. They are likely going to be angling themselves for the full 3. It's 1 round, and it's commiserations to the Chiefs. Congratulations to the Latin America teams and fans. You have 1 more representative guaranteed on that playoff stage. And I'm going to ask you the fun question right now. What does that do for SI standings?
Let me see, actually. I think, well, Chiefs, of course.
Chiefs were the only team at this tournament not in contention.
Yeah.
They were here just for the tournament.
They were just here for the tournament,
FaZe
just to try and get
weren't
the title.
guaranteed before. They were fighting for the opportunity to be guaranteed before.
I am pulling it up right now. So before this day started, they were already 90% confirmed. I'm just quickly checking all the way back up to somewhat more outdated,
With your numbers.
somewhat more outdated data, but it still gives a good idea. Before the whole major started, they had a 96% chance of making it to 6th Invitational if they would be making it to the playoffs. So with that happening, I assume that is going to be a 100% now due to other teams dropping out here. So FaZe are also a team, just like Sandbox earlier
Just like
on,
Sandbox.
confirmed for the 6th Invitational. So they qualified for two things with this matchup, the playoffs and SI.
The aggressive mirror window hold here as Astro's going to see if he can find the fight as soon as somebody pops up on the rappel. He is desperate for blood and decides, well, oil from a drone is good enough for now. The Maverick official isn't going to offer himself any close quarters combat just in this moment of time. He gave himself a little window and a hole towards the angle at the top, and the Salma's going to make sure that mirror window becomes a bigger one. The possibility of rotation and destruction has become more of an option and idea. Another long range. Wasn't thrown. He was expecting the push and the pressure as he wants to get a bit more clarity towards the default drive. It's a standard approach so far that, to be fair, it's step for step. But the bodies on the far side of construction are about to widen the push.
Chiefs looking for a way in. They know FaZe have just qualified as well. The pressure is all off on them. The pressure is all off on the Chiefs. So well, that is going to be proving one good game after that, if we do get many more rounds, that is, because if it just purely comes down to the gun skill right here, it's Souls that comes in at the top at the very start of it with the Elder, gets flashed quite a bit, Cyber does go down, brings it back to a 4-on-4, but even quite low. There's going to be some more pressure coming down though from the balcony itself, hoping to catch the Maestro player off guard. Souls, of course, misstep could lead to his life being lost, and God Legion is hoping and praying on that one.
Trying to find an angle through the artwork that is currently plastered over this wall is tough. They can't quite get the width on the player that might be on the top of red, and nobody's overextending underneath, I say, as Souls goes for the wide swing. I'm not sure if he was the rafter players before, but he knows the next is coming his way. Ethan and God Legion both massively damaged. The fuse is picked back up by Ethan. No, it's actually just stepped over, and he's dropped down. The fight is over. FaZe Clan lock it out for 3 rounds. Chiefs gave it a go. They did better than they did last time, and it is their first time on a major stage. A lot of lessons learned, and a fun time in Sweden. And they still got one more game later on today to wrap it up with, I believe, the other already relegated team of OXG. But at this point, FaZe Clan eyes towards the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely will. FaZe will make it to SI and the playoffs, so well done to them. Unfortunately, we will have to say goodbye from the Chiefs at the end of the day. But before we break this down any further, let's go to a quick break.
What does it take to create the future of a gaming community? Join us on this 4th episode of I Call Next as we discover how to level up gameplay and reset the expectations of an entire league. PayPal. Press play.
Easy going right there. One more to go.
and welcome back to the post-match recap of what has turned into a little bit of a farewell and a little bit of a congratulations at the same time. As we knew coming into this day, we knew coming into this day that we would have a lot that would be set in stone, and we have that.
Yeah, definitely through. Like, after match 4, things already started to be, shaping up. We already had the first teams qualify. We had the first teams that had to say their goodbyes. But after match 5, well, it seems like full groups are going to be locked in. So that is definitely the case here as well. Not in final standings. We could still see some changes in between, but the top 2 and bottom 2 are both confirmed now. But we'll head back onto that just a little bit later after we've done the replays and the match recap itself.
Now, Chiefs improved upon their performance in their first showdown with FaZe in that they found a round, but unfortunately, it was the only one that they found. It was the opener. It gave you a bit of hope, and to be fair, it was a better performance from them across this game. Sure, it still ended a 7-1, but their first showing against FaZe was a different skill level that they just couldn't quite hit. Here, there were fights, there were moments, there were bites back. It was a map that they've already tread the boards on twice throughout this group stages to mixed results either side. They wanted to see if they could make the magic happen one more time. Their only chance to. Unfortunately for them, FaZe had their eyes locked on one thing today, and that is securing playoffs, which they've done.
That's it, right? You were against a team that wanted to secure playoffs, and you yourself had the tallest of asks. You needed to win both the games full out, 6 points, whereas FaZe was not allowed to get a single point. Well, it was also the team FaZe that went 14-0 on day 1, so, telling them that they're not allowed to get a single point, a man can dream, I guess. I mean, it would have been possible, but not anymore. Game has ended. It is, as soon as that 6th round went away, it did. Or 7th round, rather, it was FaZe already confirmed for those playoffs. And Chiefs, who, fought valiantly. They have brought Rogue, for example, to an OT before. Definitely show that they have the skill level. They just need a bit more of that experience now. And, Sweden is definitely that opportunity, or has been the opportunity for them to get that experience here.
I think that's it, and that's the main thing to take away from this, and I know we highlighted on it in the cast, is they are one of the least experienced teams on an international level at this tournament. They're against huge names, huge rosters like FaZe who have been around for a long time, and obviously they faced here, but you don't have to look far to sort of find another big set of names. They have to go against OXG with players like Laxing, sure they were weakened in their group, who have been around since the beginning, and obviously Rogue as well. It was a good showing for a group that has learned a lot here, and they're going to bring that to other OCE teams. Be ready for some new tricks of the trade, but here, FaZe, while they're making up for the lost time for not hitting Mexico, it is back to the stellar performances they had. Cameraman, 9-1, absolutely electric, with I believe one of the highest ratings we've seen on any player this tournament so far.
Definitely so. And also, I just want to mention, it's not really up to date for this match itself, but due to FaZe qualifying for 6 Invitational, the tournament was already not going NA's way.
Yeah.
That is about to get even worse, because now 2 out of the 4 things that need to happen have happened.
For TSM.
For TSM to be eliminated from SI. Damwon Kia is on the brink of qualifying themselves as well. And then one more of the teams that is currently fighting for it needs to find themselves a way in. So, that is going to be a very interesting way to look at, especially throughout these groups, because we will have a good idea at the end of the day whether or not we get yet another SI team locked in or locked out. So, without further ado, let's pull up these groups to start talking about it, because how do we do that? Well, by locking in teams, and we have just locked in Team A. FaZe on the top. Oh, the other game's still going on. It's like, did Rogue lose? But
were you trying to do quick maths? No, the other game is still going on. I can hear Tim and Dez over the top. I would shout, but it'd be rude. I'll let them keep going. Yeah, that game is still ongoing. Rogue could still claw their way back to the top of the board, and then obviously there's the final game of the day. Although they are eliminated, there's still another one to go. Sorry. I think we might have just... Did you hear? It is match point for Oxygen.
So they are bringing it back. They are looking to find themselves a win here, but that could even... Do you see that? Oxygen currently 4th. 1 point to 4 on the Chiefs.
6-4.
There is an opportunity that Chiefs
It's a game on. So let's throw ourselves through this. You can see that this is the Group A. We'll let you guys get your peepers over to the other stream as soon as possible. Maybe you'll catch the end of OXG pulling some points, and that'll make things spicy for the Chiefs vs OXG game that is later today. But for now, we're going to take a quick break, and we will see you very soon.